Hey guys, it's Corbett Lunsford from the Building Performance Workshop. I am on one of the coolest build sites in the world right now. This is what's called the Off-Grid Homestead. I'm in North Carolina, and first I want to explain about my face. Some of you, historically, over the last 10 years, have been telling me not to swear, that it's not charming. The way that Joe Stieber gets away with it, and it's part of his thing, is just not charming in general, which I happen to agree with, actually. And so I've been trying to watch my mouth more. And I want you to know that when I punched myself in the face yesterday, on accident, I didn't say anything. So there you go. I hope that continues. I'm going to go ahead and pitch this right now to our architect builder, Chris Laumer-Giddens, LG Squared Architecture, or LG Cubed Builders.
Both.
Why are you an architect and a builder?
There became a demand for it because we design and build these houses so ridiculously tight and durable, and they last forever, and our homeowners found fewer and fewer builders to be able to execute what we design. And to do that, it does take an understanding and an appreciation and pride in getting to that goal. And our clients, our architecture clients, struggled to find that builder.
And that's a historical thing, though. Like, somebody like Da Vinci, or there used to be master builders who did everything.
Yeah. The master builder is a term I like to use. It's because it is all inclusive. You're thinking about it. So when there's a construction decision to make, instead of calling an architect, the architect's there. Instead of the architect having to call the builder to make a decision, it's all encompassed into one. It's all comprehensive.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, back in the day, that's what the architects would do. They would hire the contractors, and they would say, hey, I want the building to look like this. I want to make the arch this tall and this wide. And while they're building it, I might notice, oh, that's not really what I thought it would look like on paper.
Yeah.
So let's redo it.
So is this what you thought it would look like on paper? We're in the mountains in North Carolina. Was it this beautiful in your mind when you were envisioning it?
No. It was
and this
so
yellow?
much less beautiful. This is amazing. Every time we go another step, it blows me away at how amazing it is.
Yeah.
I'm just pleased every day. I just love it. I just love seeing it come.
So real quick, break it down for us. We've got a huge building here. We've got a little kind of compound over there. What do we have?
So it's a working permaculture farm. This is essentially a storage building. Or storage barn. There won't be any animals or anything. It's just all storage. And the three buildings that you saw that's the community house. And so permaculture is a practice. It's a way of living. It's a way of cultivating your lifestyle to live off the grid. And so all of your drainage, or all of your irrigation systems, your food sources, all of that is ultimately, you want that to all come from your own property, from your own land. And so you cultivate the land, you grow the soil. And
let's go ahead and take a look.
So the community house, though, is where they will teach permaculture. They'll bring community together and learn about permaculture ways, and do cooking classes. They'll just cook together, and it's also just a party pad. But that's the idea, that's the concept of this whole project, is sort of permaculture off-grid. Mm-hmm. We've got multiple springs on the property. We've tapped into one of them, and that'll be the only source of potable water or the primary source. Mm-hmm. And then we'll have backup sources with the well and another spring as the backup.
Right. So so over here we've got what is called the main pod, and then the two smaller pods. And they each have sleeping quarters and bathrooms, but the main pod has the kitchen and all the kind of stuff that became. And when in our conversations, there was all kinds of back and forth about the ventilation, which you and I both care about deeply. And you have kind of an interesting approach on the ventilation when we get up here. Yeah. You have a ceiling plenum that's essentially serving as like the ERV core for your entire ventilation system. So there is no ERV core, it is this ceiling plenum.
It is. And so we're treating the building as the ERV and letting it sort of act in its own way, using much lower wattage fans, quieter and continuous CFM and keeping it balanced. So we have an intake and we have an exhaust, but we're using the attic space, the encapsulated attic space, where all of our systems are. And because we've put all the insulation and control layers to the outside of the structure, anything within that structure is encapsulated. So we're using that space as a buffer zone for the fresh air coming in. So with the air handler being open on the return side, the fresh air comes in, gets mixed with the return air from the spaces inside the house. The air handler picks up that fresh air, filters it again, because there's a filter on the fresh air intake. The air handler filters it again, conditions it, and then distributes it through the ductwork.
And these fans, by the way, these ultra quiet, ultra awesome fans are Fantech, is that right?
Yeah.
Which is a sponsor of the Home Diagnosis television show, so they care about having that conversation with normal people. That's a thumbs up for them. So here we come into the compound. It's an actual construction site. So there are tractors being run. We have all of this is the exterior cladding, which is airtight, and on the inside, we're not using any interior insulation. Is that right, Chris?
That's right. It's all exterior. No cavity insulation at all.
Okay. Go ahead and show us around here.
Yep. We're in the master bathroom now, and you notice that we've got 18 gauge metal framing here, and that is one of the most conductive materials that we build with. Concrete and steel are super conductive.
And that's bad, just to be clear.
For that. Yes. So heat flies through this metal framing, and about 10 times the speed of, say, going through wood. And if you fill only the cavities with insulation, you lose about 75% of your R value. So we've put everything to the outside to control that heat loss. So basically, it's literally a stop at the exterior.
Awesome.
And so we got about 6 to 8 inches on the walls. We're doing 6 inches on the roof. We're doing 8 inches. And that's our theme music, right?
Okay, cool. Let's deduct her. This is how we do it, pro style. Woo! So there's the ceiling plenum you're talking about.
Now we're going to have a fresh air. Fresh air will come in towards the middle. And if you look up at the top here, we're going to have a series of transfer grills. And that cavity, since it's not filled with insulation or anything, that will also be part of that plenum system. So all the return air run up to the high point of this ceiling, get picked up through those transfer grills, run across the ceiling structure, and all that's connected to this encapsulated space here.
Awesome. And for everybody who is wondering, we will be testing extensively all of this stuff. Chris got the most comprehensive testing package that I've ever put together for anyone before. So we're going to spend quite a bit of time out here. All right, and here we've got the 2 living pods. Anything special about them?
This is where all the guests will be when it comes time to doing community events, and they can have up to 20 people. The septic system was sized for 20 people. These are just basically one big room, and they can organize, bunk it in any way they want to.
And they've been adding windows. Your clients are awesome. Let's make that perfectly clear. They were just like, Chris, whatever you want to do, we believe in you. Right. So they wanted to change. They wanted to add more windows. And you said...
And I said, let's do whatever it is you want, let's do that. Let's not focus on the high performance enclosure, because if I tell you, no, you can't have it, you're going to come back to me and say, this place is really dark and I really wish we'd had the windows. These are triple pane windows from Marvin, and they're among the top in the industry. And they are going to perform so well, and they work well with the entire design we've got on this project.
And I think it's interesting, like when you came to me, I used to be a passive house rater. I never actually participated in one, and it's partly because hitting the metrics, like having some kind of a gold standard is nice. My tiny lab is passive house airtight.
Yeah.
my high performance tool shed, the dry vault, which we're comparing yours to mine today, and I feel intimidated already, it got very, very airtight. And so like having those things to hit is great, but you weren't interested in having this place be certified. And that's something that you and I have talked about quite a bit.
Yeah.
Why is that? How does that inform you?
Well, certification it's a guideline. And I really appreciate what the efforts that they make to help the industry get to reach these goals. The science, the research, and everything that's behind that goes into those programs, that develops the programs where they are today, is what we're focused on that on the core of that. What is the intention? And what I've said to you and I've said to the clients is I said, if we set the bar at maybe it's passive house, it's LEED, whatever it is, we're basically lowering our bar because we've gone beyond that with what we've provided. And so that sets a stopping point. You can say you can go to a certain point, and yeah, you can go extra and whatever, but really focusing on the core and the intent is our goal. It's not reaching, we don't want that certification. People identify with those things and they say, oh, it's passive house, great. I understand what that means. This is beyond that, and that's
you don't get it. You do not understand.
And that's okay. That's okay.
And that's cool though that like they wanted these extra windows, and you're like, okay, it's not going to hurt our passive house certification, which it would if you were actually like you're like, oh no, we're right on the edge of being certified, and
believe it or not, this one I did run it by a passive house consultant, and I said, where are we at? What is this? How close are we? Can we get there with this? And this is what blew me away and why I said, I was convinced before, but first of all, it's a lot of work. And when you're doing it the way we're doing it, which it's right, wrong, whatever, we're doing it this way. And what we found was that we were told the house is actually too small. How can it be too small? You're using less, and there aren't enough people in it. It's 2 people. That building is 1,300 square feet. It was too small, not enough people. And even though we have 6 inches on the exterior, 8 inches on the roof, all of those things you would think, all those are the metrics for getting passive house. We're going to be super tight. So to me, there are holes in it. There are things that kind of prevent you from getting there and disappoint you. And so it's really just doing it. I guess it's sort of it's getting it towards what the intent is and not meeting the actual standard.
Yeah. So here we have gigantic sliding glass doors. Now, is each one of those units 400 pounds, or is the whole thing 400 pounds?
Yeah, the entire thing came in just over 2,000 pounds. And I've got some really good footage of those things being brought in on the skid steer.
And go check out Chris's YouTube channel, which is?
LG squared, Inc.
Bing.
Yeah, or just LG squared, I guess.
Bingo. Now, by the way, that's why our channel is called Home Performance, and what everything I'm talking about and Chris is talking about, and that's why we're such good friends, not just work together, is that there is no prescription. Prescribing things, which is what the certifications do, everybody needs to hit the same performance standards, doesn't actually do the job of getting exactly what you want your house to perform like. So that's kind of what as far as we're concerned, the new frontier is. It's not a new frontier, actually. Lots of people who have been doing this for a long time have been complaining about the same thing. Let's make it less about prescription for everybody. Code does that, for example, and more about performance. What do you want your house to do? How many dogs are you gonna have? How much fresh air do you want? What do you want it to smell like in your house? So now, here we go. Proof is in the pudding, right? So this is how we prove it. We're about to do a blower door test on Chris's barn.
Not like that.
At rough in, like extremely rough in. Also that, if you know anything about blower doors, you know that door and the one that's exactly across from it in there are gonna wreak total havoc on this number. Are you nervous?
I was.
And then you got it behind the scenes?
I don't know. I researched to get and asked and looked at the details and really, I mean, and that's what you do on literally every material in construction. And you call it high performance, but it just should be, that's the way construction should happen, of course. And you research everything. And so we looked at samples of these things and looked at how all the seams come together. And I'm actually pretty pleased with the way they've built this door. So nervous, yeah.
Also,
I'm just looking
Chris and
forward
I
to it.
ran a little test beforehand, and he happens to know
I know a little
how.
bit.
So I gave it away to him, but you're about to find out. So stay tuned in the second video of this two-part series for what happens next.